you are the CTO and one of the co-founders of Fall Damage. So naturally, in this talk, we're going to talk and focus on tech. But first, maybe you can start with introducing yourself briefly.
Yes, certainly. Back when I was 10, my parents brought home an Atari ST, and that's when I discovered my interest in gaming and soon after programming. I spent a great many years over at DICE, working primarily on the Battlefield games. But then a couple of years ago, a couple of former colleagues approached me and said, "Hey, it's time to start a new studio." And that's 5 years ago now. And we're still rolling.
Nice. And I think the subject for this talk could be releases, or more specifically, how Fall Damage handle releases today. Could you start with telling us a bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. One thing that we decided to do pretty much from day one when we founded this company was to release once a week. And we landed on doing it each Friday. Now, why release once a week? Well, that comes really from our experiences in the past working on larger and larger projects, where one thing that we typically see on those, where there's a release every 2 or more often every 4 weeks, say, is that you have a timeline kind of like this. And this is the end of the previous release. And over here is the upcoming release. So what happens is that people start working on their own thing, working on it, and then realize, okay, it's soon time for the release. Now I want to get my stuff into the game. But unfortunately, everybody else is doing that at the same time. So everybody's things are coming into the game at the same time, and nothing is working. And there's only this little time remaining to bring the game back to functioning state. So this is a very stressful period. And somehow you get through that. A couple of unfortunate people need to do a bunch of overtime, but we got it together. Fantastic. And then this cycle keeps repeating over and over and over again. So what we want to accomplish by having releases every 5 days, like every 5 business days, is putting them so frequently that individuals in the team are unable to be strategic about their work in that same way. We want to make sure that when they're working on something, then they can't just ninja things in shortly before the release. So if they're working on larger things, it's going to span over across multiple releases. Also, similarly, or rather not similar, but related to this, another facet of it is that the people who receive the releases, be that a collaboration partner, QA department, or real players out there, if there's a release once every week and your stuff looks like it, okay, unfortunately, this looks like it won't get done for this Friday, maybe it's not the end of the world if your stuff is going to wait until next Friday, because everybody else's stuff makes it in for this Friday anyway. So there are good things in the package anyway. So in a sense, by having the releases frequently enough, we're decoupling, the release becomes less of an event. It's no longer the situation that you must get your things done for a specific date, but you can work on your things, and when it feels like when it's done, it's done. You can use more of that kind of mindset. So you don't necessarily finish things towards the end of the week, close to the release. Things get finished at any time of the week, and then it's part of the next release automatically, kind of.
Cool. And I assume that this reduces stress for the team.
It does, yes. Now, it's one like that. That's actually one of the reasons why we are doing it. We want to get away from people like putting in huge amounts of efforts and then working against hard deadlines of that sort. It's better if we can approach it like there's a continuous flow. And also, this means that we can if we have a release every week, it means that the game needs to work pretty well, at least once a week, which means that no individual can choose to do something that destabilizes or makes life difficult for a large part of the rest of the team for more than maybe a day or so. And this in turn incentivizes individuals to find ways to accomplish what they want without negatively impacting others. Because otherwise they know if I do this, if I temporarily break if I temporarily break the game, then my work right now is going to be easier. But suddenly the clock is ticking because I know there's a release in 3 days. So I really must get this back on track by then. So maybe I'm going to spend more time and effort on this and work in a different way just so I don't end up in a situation where the clock is ticking. And this in turn reduces risk and gets people into a state where, the game is working and it's all right if I spend a little more time on this or that thing. But why am I spending this or that time on it? It's because I don't want to accidentally put me or others in stressful situations.
Cool. So it actually also improves the quality of each build in a way.
Mm-hmm. It does, absolutely.
Nice. Thank you for throwing some light on the release process, Kalms. Actually, I can see that we're running out of time a bit here, but I just have one final question for you. What is your all-time favorite game and why?
That has to be Dungeon Master. It was Screen Star in Atari ST Magazine in January or June 1986. So this was the first time that I get to experience a truly immersive first-person experience. You go down there in the catacombs, slay monsters, and try to find the evil wizard. And it so happens that I'm replaying Dungeon Master right now. So I'm just going to start mashing my way through level 12, I believe.
Cool. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Kalms. It has been a super nice talk.